Julia with Julia Sue's Stamping. Thank you so much for being here to hang out with me for a few minutes. I really appreciate your time. Today I'm going to show you a fun fold card that is basically a 2-for-1 card. So when you cut your paper, you'll be able to make a second card easily doing that same paper. I also have a little bit of fun with embossing paste to share with you, a little tip and trick. So hopefully this will be new, or if it's not, maybe it's something that you've forgotten about and you'd like to use again. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Northeast Ohio. Everything I show is going to be a Stampin' Up! Product today. And let's see, if you are watching the premiere, please be sure to join in the live chat because I'm there. I'm hanging out with you, and I would love to answer any questions that you may have right away. And if you are watching the replay, please leave a comment. I'll be sure to respond very quickly. Normally it's pretty quick. I can't think of anything else. I have some notes so that I can make sure I remember everything. I don't see anything that I forgot, so let's get started. I'm going to start off by bringing in the supplies that we're using today, and the first one I really want to talk about is this shimmery white embossing paste. We're going to use a little bit of that along with this palette knife to create some fun on the designer series paper. I'm going to set that aside for the moment though, and now we will have the blueberry bushel ink introduced. It's what we are using here today. We've got a little bit of basic white, some blueberry bushel cardstock, some crushed curry cardstock, fun colors today, along with the Full of Life designer series paper. I just love all the colors in this. It is so much fun. The So Sincere stamp set and the Textured Notes stamp set. Using an entire sheet of the crushed curry. Now remember, all details will be listed on my blog, so please be sure you check it out. I have measurements and supplies used there, so I'm not going to go over measurements much here because they are listed. We've got the whole piece of crushed curry, and it has been scored at 4.5 inches and at 5.5 inches. So it has already been scored. I've got this white sheet here to show you so that you could see, because I know it's difficult to see on this crushed curry piece. So I've got it here on this white, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put it into the trimmer, and we're going to cut it from one end, I think it's probably going to be this end right here, all the way down from the top left down to the bottom right. I will also need to use my paper snips when I do this because it won't cut all the way through. So we're going to remove the scoring blade and put the cardstock in. I have it so it's in the groove up here, and then I'm also going to have it be in the groove down here. So it's in there on both ends, and now I press it down. I'm going to bring it back up to the top so you can see. I press it down into it. I'm going to lift it up, bring it back, and go all the way down now. That way I keep the ends looking better. Now I'm going to lift it up. When I take it out, you can see it hasn't quite cut all the way through. So let me move the paper trimmer, bringing in the paper snips. I will show you what we're going to do. We simply take the paper snips and finish that cut. I'm just going to lift it up there and there. See, it's hardly any of it did not get cut, but some of it doesn't all the way, and that's okay. It'll still look really great with this card. There, that's it. You can't even tell now. It's very well done, and I am going to go ahead and fold it down and fold it in along those score lines. Same with this one, scored and fold it in using the bone folder. I'll get them nice and tight now. Other side over here. All right, now for purposes of helping this video go quickly, I'm only going to be making one of these for the video. And I'll show you them all complete at the end along with some other examples. The Designer Series piece of cardstock is going to be trimmed and cut so that it will fit onto these triangles of the base. So you would have two of these so that you can make your two cards. We're going to cut it from one end to the other. Just look at how it needs to be cut because of the front, and I can see it needs to be cut this way. So that's how I'm going to cut it in the paper trimmer, so that it turns out like this. For fun and to make it a little different today, I'm taking the shimmery white embossing paste. I'm going to put a little bit onto the Designer Series paper. Taking off the top, I also grab a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to take a little bit of the paste out because we don't need much with the palette knife, and just getting a little bit, I'm going to smooth it onto these squares. All right, I'm going to close this up because I like to keep it closed as much as possible. It dries out pretty quickly. And to save us time, I've got some that are already done. If you want to heat up your, if you want to speed up your drying process of the embossing paste, you can always use your heat tool. Now that I've got a couple that are dry here, I'm going to put them onto the card base on the front. And the way I'm going to do it to keep anything from happening to that embossed area, the embossing paste, is I'm going to put the adhesive onto the base of the card, placing the cardstock on top, the Designer Series paper rather, on top there, and moving it where I want. I love that moment of grace that you get with the glue, the liquid glue. Now I'm going to put it on this side too, so that we have both the pieces on there. Nice glimmery, like my own private little disco ball here. Fun pieces all set to go. Now that that's adhered, it's time to work on the sentiment. I've got a little piece of the basic white, opening up the Blueberry Bushel ink. I'm going to use the stamp from the So Sincere for the sentiment and place it down onto the cardstock. Next, I'm going to grab a piece of grid paper that I can use. I'm going to stamp this right there, and now I'm going to stamp off and do one more stamping of it right there. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks just fine. And this is the one that is from the Textured Notes. I love having a little something extra on there. Closing up the ink. Now it's time to start matting this. We've got a piece of Blueberry Bushel to start. Carefully adhering some adhesive to the back of the sentiment piece, placing it on. So mostly this card that we're making today is a Stamps ink paper card. Now for a layer of the crushed curry to mat behind here. Stamps ink paper means that we don't have any other embellishments really, and I'm not using die cuts. Another layer of Blueberry Bushel. Remember, I have all the measurements of these layers listed on my blog. Another layer of the Blueberry Bushel, and we are not doing all sorts of embellishments or ribbons or anything like that. The only embellishment we're doing today is the embossing paste. I'm going to place this onto the front of the card using some dimensionals. So I'm going to grab those. I see where I want them. I want them on this side over here. So I'm going to put it up in the corner and then kind of toward that side, one in the middle and one kind of sort of toward that side, taking off the paper backing. Now I'm going to line it up and place it down. Let's make sure none of that adhesive shows. Good, because if it was showing, that would make it so the card wouldn't open, and we don't want that, do we? We want the card to be able to open. Now for the inside of the card, I'm going to take a piece of the basic white, mat it with the blueberry bushel, and then this is going to go inside the card. I always like to make sure I say, if you already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, that's wonderful. If you don't and you choose to use me, I appreciate your support of my small business, and I would be honored to help you in your crafting journey. Grabbing a piece of the Designer Series paper to place right down here at the bottom, and that's going to help give the inside and the outside of the card a nice cohesive look. Placing it down, and that is our card. All sparkly, it's got a little bit of the glimmer with it. So fun. Now let me show you the others I created with this. Here's its partner, another one of the same with the nice sparkly, glimmery, fun Designer Series paper. I used the Woven Textures Designer Series paper along with the textured notes, along with a little bit of Blackberry Bliss, and it opens up just beautifully. Again, you can see it's got a little bit of that glimmer and shine, some texture from the embossing paste. The card was also created using the Mixed Media Florals Designer Series paper. And again, that embossing paste added such a nice bit of glimmer and some texture to the Designer Series paper. Let's see how it looks inside. We've got layers of Daffodil Delight along with the black. How fun is this? Well, my friends, you can see there are a lot of ways to create this card layout. Lots of different papers. It works with different stamp sets. It's fun, it's easy, and I can't wait to see what you make out of it. That's it. How easy is this layout? It's a really fun one to have in your back pocket, easy to use, and create a couple of cards very quickly. Thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure you give the video a like, share, comment. Please follow me on social media. All those things help grow my small business so much, and I appreciate your support a lot. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and a chance to get inky. Bye.